Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm sorry that I haven't changed up the background in a while. I've been sitting in the same spot and my Christmas tree is still up. It doesn't have any ornaments on it, but it's still there. So let's just ignore that. Ignore the fact that my hair is all kinds of not cooperative with me. But anyway, so today's video is going to be a story time video, and it's been a while since this has happened, but I just wanted to share my experience with you guys, and I want to know your experience. So today's story time video is about my experience seeing a psychic. So I've always loved the idea of psychics, of palm readings, of card readings, tarot cards, regular cards, whatever it is. I just realized I should probably put something on my lips, but we'll just ignore that for now. But when I went to Orlando, you can see my vlog up here. It is my Orlando vlog and also the Halloween Horror Nights vlog. Also a story time where I got into a fight down there, but we'll ignore that part. But I went down to Florida for Halloween, and I went to the Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, which was really, really fun. During our night there, they had a booth set up. They had 2 tents set up where they had henna tattoos and psychic readings. So I decided to do, I think it was like a 20-minute reading with a psychic. It cost me like 25-ish bucks, something like that. But I sat there, and the psychic sat in front of me. There was like a small round table in between us. It had a little ball thing, you know, it wasn't really to it wasn't like a psychic ball. I don't know, maybe it was, but she didn't use it. She was using tarot cards to do my psychic reading. So she was a much older lady. She was very nice though, and it's not that I really believe in psychics. It's not like I really, my hair is just all kinds of, but anyway, so it's not like I really believe that what she was going to tell me was going to change my life or change my future or, you know, have a big impact on my personal life. But, you know, it was something that I've always been interested in. I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted Micah to come with me, and, you know, we would get our palms read together or something like that. I don't know. I just really, you know, thought that was really interesting, and the whole process was really interesting. So I sat down in a chair across from this lady. She asked me, you know, some basic questions, you know, what's your name, how old are you, what do you do, things like that. And she had her cards out, and she kind of explained the whole process. She said, I'm going to set down 4 women in front of you on the cards, not real life women, but on these cards were pictures of women. Not I want this to sound not creepy, because I feel like it's sounding a little bit creepy, but they were drawings, not actual photographs of women. But on these cards were you know, drawings of women, and the women depicted on the cards, there was one where this woman was in nature, and you could see there was kind of a split card. So the top half of the card was the woman, and the bottom half was the ocean. You could see in the water, and there was all these ocean animals. And there's another lady who was the card was very golden colored, and she was kind of golden colored, and it was kind of goddess-esque type of thing. There was another woman, I think her card was more of a green color, and it was also more naturey, but less water nature, more deers and things like that. And I think there were maybe 4 or 5 of these cards in front of me, and the woman asked me to pick one. And so I decided to pick the blue themed card with the lady and the water and the sea creatures. And she told me that the water represented shoot, I can't remember. It was emotions maybe, or something like that. It was the water had a certain representation, and the woman had all of them, the sea creatures and the lady and the water, all had this meaning to it. And if I can do some research online, I'll probably try to put in the description box the exact meaning, just so I can remember, because I can't. But it's really fascinating. And after she picked that card, she shuffled up the cards and had me choose a couple of different cards. I think it was up to 4, and she pulled out the 4 cards, set them down, and I don't remember what they were. I should have filmed this whole experience, but I wanted it to be less for a video and more for like an intimate thing, like just for me really. Sorry, I don't have nail polish on like 2 of my fingers, so ignore that. But yeah, so I didn't film this experience, and I wish I had, but I didn't want to be weird about it, and I didn't know how she felt about it, and I didn't want it to be like, I don't know, I just wanted to immerse myself in that experience without the distraction of a camera. But anyway, so she sat down these 4 cards in front of me, explained what all of them meant to me, and basically at the end, what I got away from that experience, and also at the end she let me ask some questions, but what I got away from that experience was she told me that I would come into, I can't remember if she said a large sum of money or a large like fortune or something like that, because those two have kind of different meanings. Like you can have a large sum of money, but that's like money. If you have a large fortune, that's a little bit different, because fortune can come in different forms in terms of cars or houses or, you know, whatever. So fortune is kind of different. I can't remember which one she said it was, but basically something that she believed would change my path in life, would give me the option to decide what I wanted to do with my life. And she said I would have, you know, a very successful life and things like that. And you know, that's kind of stuff where, you know, when you go to a psychic and they tell you have a successful life, people who don't believe in that stuff is like, well, duh, they're going to tell you stuff you want to hear because they want your money. But, you know, I didn't go into that experience thinking, you know, like, oh, well, this is like really going to happen, you know. Although I did buy like a lottery ticket after that, just to see. But she did say within the year that I would come into either a large sum of money or a large fortune, and that would change my decision, and that sum of whatever it was would allow me to make the decision whether or not I would continue with my education or branch off and do something else. So let me tell you where I'm at now. Oh, and she also said, like, my grandmother, I asked her, I don't know what I said about my grandmother, but I know I mentioned her, and it gave off like an eerie feeling of like maybe something. One of the cards read that there was like a big change, and so the big change could be something drastic and terrible or really good. And so she did mention my grandmother and said, you know, like sometimes this could mean like, you know, maybe your grandmother gets ill and she passes away and leaves you her money, and that's where your large sum of wealth comes from, or, you know, it could be a lot of different things. So that was something that was, you know, like bad, I guess you could say, like in my fortune reading. But I'll just tell you what I got, what's basically happened since then that maybe could correlate with my psychic reading. Also, if you had any psychic experiences, I would like to know, because I want to know, like, you know, is what the psychic told you, has that happened, has it not happened, do you think psychics are hoax and whatever. But so basically what has happened since then. Well, if you guys have been following me on my vlog channel or even caught on to some things that I said in my videos, I am moving. We are moving into a house. We currently live in an apartment right now, and we will be moving into a home of our own that we do own, or that I own. So if you want to consider that part of the like large fortune, then, you know, you could, because a house is a pretty, you know, big fortune object, you know, it's expensive. But it's not like, you know, I won the lottery or I got all this money so that I could buy a house. It was more of I already had the money, and then I decided to buy a house with the money that I already had. So nothing like big like that has changed. Nothing major in my life really has changed. I mean, if you want to consider getting a house like a major life event, then maybe. But as far as like my grandmother, so far she's doing fine as far as I know. John and Debbie saw her today at church, and I talked to them about my moving process, because I just hired some movers to move, and they told me that they saw my grandma at church. So she's still, you know, alive and well as of today. So, you know, nothing with her has happened. There has been a couple of cases where, you know, I try to, you know, buy lottery tickets and things like that, and usually if the lottery gets over like 200 million, then I'll buy a ticket. But this past lottery drawing, there were 2 different lotteries. There was the Powerball and the Mega Millions, and both of them were over, I believe it was like over $300 million for both. And so I decided to buy both tickets in the hopes of maybe if I won both of them, then that's like a lot of fucking money. But anyway, none of that happened. Nothing exciting like that happened, although that would be super cool. As far as schooling goes, I have been doing a lot of research, deciding what I want to do as far as school goes. I don't know how much I've talked to you guys about this, but I really hate school. Like, I really, really hate it. It's not for me. It's not something I enjoy. I go because I feel like I have to. I go because I have the pressure of society and my family that, you know, I should go to school and continue my education. But really, I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. It's not fun, you know, and it's not like it's supposed to be fun, but it's like to the point where it's like it doesn't bring me joy, it doesn't bring me any motivation to do anything. I'm not excited about it, you know, I'm not really excited about what I'm learning, because right now I'm not taking any classes in my major, which is really unfortunate because I really enjoy my major, but I'm stuck taking a lot of general education courses, which really sucks. So I'm in between deciding what I want to do as far as continuing my education, if I want to continue with my sociology degree, or if I want to do something in terms of like animal therapy and things like that. And I have found some vocational schools that will allow me to do that. So I am making choices as far as what I want to do with my education, but I don't really think that that is in correlation with like the psychic. But again, you can interpret it any way you want to. And I think that's the thing that people kind of have to realize about psychic readings is you can't really interpret it verbatim. I don't know how to explain this. Like, for example, like if she were to say like a large fortune, like you were to come into a large fortune, that could be anything, you know, in people's idea of what is large is in terms of money or in terms of fortune can be anything. Like $500 could be, you know, a large sum of money, you know, $1 million is a large sum of money, you know, and fortune can be anything. And you know, it's very broad and very general terms, and maybe that's how, you know, psychics kind of like make their way around that and, you know, tell you things that sound good, but can't really be interpreted into like, you know, if they were to say you will inherit $500,000 within the next year, like that's very specific, and I think psychics don't give you specifics like that just because it's, you know, maybe not true. I don't know, whatever you believe in. But for me, obviously, it's not that I'm like skeptical, but I'm not like hopeful in their fortune telling, you know, like I'm not going to revolve my whole life around what they tell me, but I like to take in like, you know, what they say into consideration when making certain decisions in my life. But it's not like I'm like, the psychic said this, so I gotta do this, you know, like I don't do that. But it was a really interesting experience. It was really fun. I know that there are astronomy, like zodiac sign readers who live like literally down the road from me. They do it from their house. They have like a big sign in front of their house. There's those people. And then where John and Debbie live, down the road from them, maybe like 20 minutes down the road, there is a palm reader. And I've always told Micah, I was like, we should go get our palms read. I think that would be really cool. I think it'd be really interesting to see what other people think of our relationship and what like psychic reading our relationship would get, you know, and I think that's really fascinating. I think it's really interesting. So I don't know, I haven't like convinced him to go yet, but I think that would be really cool if we do go. I guarantee you I will vlog that experience, but I have to convince Micah to go, and he's not very convincing. But anyway, so I'm trying to think of anything else worth mentioning as far as this experience went. I do want to say that it was an experience. It was very interesting. I think it's really cool. I think stuff like that is really cool. Again, I'm not like a super like firm believer in this stuff, but I do like it, and I do think that there are, you know, pros and cons to things like that. And like, what am I thinking of? Like crystals, like people think that, you know, crystals have, you know, certain powers and things like that, and, you know, good vibes and all that stuff. And it's not that I don't believe that, but I do feel like they give off an energy, you know, like if you want to believe that, or if you feel that inside of you, I feel like those things can give you energy just because it's like a placebo thing. So maybe not necessarily that it's like scientifically like a real thing that, you know, these crystals give you energy, but if you want to believe that. But I hope this was interesting. I mean, I know there really wasn't a whole lot for me to tell you guys just because it's been a while. It was like back in October. So it's been a while since I've had this experience, so my memory does not serve me very well, and I'm sorry about that. But I also am really, really interested to see if you guys have gone and seen psychics and what your experience was like. Did the psychic, you know, predict things in your future? Did they not? Do you think psychics are real, or do you think they're hoaxes? You know, I'm very curious and what you guys think about this. So that is all I have for the storytime video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also go down below, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notified of when I upload videos. I'm doing my best to upload Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes on Saturday, but not so much right now just because I'm not vlogging that much. But anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!